Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's exactly 2 p.m. We are here sitting as council committee of the whole for presentations today. Just as a heads up with some of you that haven't been with us before, today is for receiving presentations, not making decisions on presentations. That's a future meeting and future budget conversation. We do have full council, and we are in the presence of our clerk and deputy clerk. Our land acknowledgement statement. Township of Hamilton is situated within the traditional territory of Mississauga, Anishinaabe, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. Our work on these lands respectfully acknowledges their resilience and their long-lasting contributions to the area now known as the Township of Hamilton. Moving along on our agenda, is there any declaration of pecuniary interest today by our council members? Seeing none, that will be recorded. Item 4, prepared motion on the agenda that the committee of the whole agenda for November 11th, 2025 be approved. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Mark, seconded by Larry. Just for the audience, I've experienced some eye difficulties lately, so I put 4 different sets of glasses here to view with, so bear with me. Moved by Mark, seconded by Larry. All those in favor? Thank you. Carried. Our first presentation is by Jay Chatton in respect to the Harwood Memorial Park and Recreation Club. Jay, please ensure the microphone's on and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Jib, council, and township staff, good afternoon. On behalf of the board of directors and volunteers of Harwood Hall, we thank you for allowing us to come here today. We also thank you for your continued opportunity to support our community efforts. On an annual basis, we provide over 1,900, I did these numbers, you'd be impressed, Scott, 1,900 hours of local daycare for up to 5 children. We serve over 1,200 breakfasts. We have weekly dance classes, Girl Guides, yoga, numerous family rentals through the weekends and days. And this year we shared our 100th anniversary with over 400 members of our community and business partners. As always, we appreciate the opportunity to present our next capital project to you today. It comes with the presentation without expectation, as we know budget and dollar are tight. The board runs a tight ship. We watch our pennies very closely. And when it comes to expenses, our eye is always on the big project that we've got, and that is to replace the bathrooms that we have to a more accessible and updated units. So with this grant proposal for today, we're asking for it will be to increase and purchase new chairs for up to 96 people. Our current chairs are somewhat old. I think most of you guys have sat in them. And I think I've got a picture in the next slide. But for the Harwood Memorial Park Recreation Club, we would recognize an improved level of comfort of seating for our several rental functions, events, and monthly breakfasts. Not only that, but there's an ergo effort to this because these old chairs are very heavy. They're sturdy, but they're extremely heavy. I can only carry 4 at a time because I'm not going to wreck myself, and I don't expect anybody else to. The new system that we're looking at will be placed on a wheel similar to what they have at Gorse Landing Hall. So it'll be easy to roll around instead of carrying in and out. As far as the club memberships community would enjoy a more comfortable experience when visiting and renting our hall, and enjoy a more aesthetic, pleasing atmosphere that's not loaded with orange chairs. As you can see in the picture, they're beyond ugly, and they're quite old, actually. I don't even know the age of them, but they're quite old. So in cost, coming to the cost and valuation, We received a quote from Uline for the 96 chairs and the roller units, $9,888. I want to put a shout out to Trevor Clapperton, who I reached out to, and he helped us to get an approved supplier from the township that we knew we'd get a good price from. And in fact, they gave us a $1,200 discount just by mentioning Township of Hamilton. So it was a good cue. With that, I've asked the board of directors to approve, which we have, an allocation of $2,388 for this project, which would make the total grant request today of $7,500. If we're successful with this and we get the new chairs, we not without thought of what we're going to do with the old ones. The hall will plans to make every attempt to reuse or recycle the chairs. And if there's any ideas from the township today or in a later date, we'd be more than happy to welcome those thoughts. They are still in for good use. It's just the aesthetics and the weight of them, I guess, is what we're really after to replace. Not needless to say, the color as well. Any questions for me today?
John, I haven't got my microphone on to acknowledge you, but I think you're leaning forward to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Through your Mayor, Jeff. Thank you for your presentation, Jay. You said the grant or said something with the washrooms make them accessible. Do you know the cost of that?
Yeah, so we've gone back and redesigned. We've reestablished with the help of the engineering staff here at the township and Reno Piscini, the architect that we use to reestablish what is our capacity. He's established that at 90, and that number constitutes a new bathroom design. We have redesigned it at a level where we know we need, but it's going to be just in excess of $200,000 for the bathroom expansion, of which I'll be going to OTF with as a capital for this year.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Mark?
It is. Absolutely. Yes. The well, in fact, it was just completed not very long ago because we tagged it in with some other work we were doing with the entrance for accessibility. When you're pouring concrete, contractor says, I want to pour it all at the same time. So we managed the project that way. Yes, the uneven concrete was all replaced, all tore up and replaced to a beautiful looking little fishbowl now, and it's very safe. And we thank you again very much for that contribution. Absolutely. Absolutely. No problem.
Further questions for Jay? Jay? Thank you.
Thanks.
We do have a motion here on the Harwood Hall presentation. And that is that the presentation by Jay Chatton, Harwood Memorial Park and Recreation Club on November 11th, 2025 regarding the 2026 grant funding request be received for information. I have a mover, moved by Bruce, seconded by John. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to 5.2 on our agenda, presentation by Heather McCullough, Community Care Northumberland. Mike, you're silent on this. You're silent on this presentation, but we recognize you as well. Please ensure the microphone's on and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. We're from Community Care Northumberland. This is my first time here, so I wasn't sure what to expect. Luckily, Mike came with me as he's been here before, and he's the expert on our subject matter for the most part. So my name is Heather McCullough. I am manager of in-home services at Community Care Northumberland. However, Our application is actually for our transportation service. So Mike and myself and another manager have been working sort of in concert on the transportation team over the last few months. So it's a team effort here today. I think for the most part, most people in the community know of Community Care Northumberland and have an idea of the programs that we provide. So I don't want to spend a lot of time going through the programs, but just a little bit about us. So Community Care was established back in 1988, so about 37 years. We've been serving Hamilton Township as well as the rest of Northumberland County. In 2010, hospice services integrated with us, and then in 2020, we opened up Ed's House here in Hamilton Township. Doesn't want to go forward. So Community Care Northumberland, we're here representing the client services half of the agency. So client services has 4 service teams. Our nutrition team coordinates Meals on Wheels in the area, so hot meals and frozen meals, as well as diners club lunches, just a time for seniors to get out and socialize and have a nice lunch. Our wellness services team coordinates all sorts of exercise and falls prevention classes, which are free of charge in the area, classes and workshops, social groups, men and women's groups, telephone security calls, friendly visiting, and personal distress alarms. Our in-home services team coordinates home help and home maintenance, which uses brokered workers to help out around the home. So it's helping seniors and disabled adults with things like housekeeping, laundry, grocery shopping, as well as outdoor maintenance tasks. We also work in partnership with our local hospitals and with Ontario Health at Home through the Home at Last program, getting folks home from hospital. Our main reason for being here today is our transportation service. So our application is to help support, which Hamilton Township supports us year after year, supporting our western route. Overall, community care is about 50% funded by Ontario Health. However, the transportation program, only our volunteer service and our Lakeshore Accessible service are funded. So we do count on municipal grants and other sources of funding, fundraising, donations to help support those van routes and keep them operating at a good cost to our clients. So Mike's going to talk a little bit about transportation.
Morning, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having us here. I just wanted to speak a bit about our transportation program. I've been involved with Hamilton Township and Accessibility Committee in the past. I think most of you know a lot. Most of you have been out in the van with me at one time or another in the last 17 years. We provide a service that's for wheelchair accessible. We have 7 wheelchair accessible vans in Northumberland County that provide transportation to those who have special needs or mobility issues. We do rural transportation, stretcher transportation, and volunteer transportation. Rural transportation is like a rural bus. We just travel around different communities in Northumberland County. We try to develop a bus pattern or a route, and people come into town and we charge them $5 for a ride, one way into town. Most people come into town, they would come in for shopping. They might come in for a medical appointment. Most of our rural transportation is for programs that are going in town here, like community living has for younger adults. And one right now that's really big is the Adult Daycare Center, which is the VON program run on Darcy Street in Coburg. There's quite a few people in Hamilton Township that we actually take into that program. The stretcher transfer, I think I talked about it last year a little bit. It just got up and going in about the last year and a half, 2 years. Again, most of that transportation is taking people to Ed's House, which for the biggest part, it just gives them a chance for affordable transportation to go to Ed's House, which at a time when they're in such distraught times, when you go in there and you realize you can help them for an affordable price, it makes us feel better and obviously makes the family feel better. was going to speak to a little bit, just a bit more about being a driver for community care for 17 years and the clients that we take from our area here and what we do for them and how it works. I was thinking about a guy one day I dropped off at the mall in Coburg and in a wheelchair, and I picked him up at the end of the day and I said, what'd you do today? He said, oh, I walked to A&W. I said, oh, you walked to A&W. I didn't know you could walk. Oh, Mike. He said, no, I took my wheelchair to A&W, but he said, that's my walk. That's how I get around. I said, wow. I said, remember coming home thinking, wow, you know, we walk in here today. We walk down the street. They wheelchair down the street. They wheelchair up the ramp, but that is their walk. And we're supporting that. We're able to, our drivers are so much different than our normal bus drivers. We go out, we help them in the vans. We tie them down in the van, We seat belt them in the vans. We politely look after them. We make sure that they're safe. The families drop them off or come out with them and they know they're getting to a safe place that they can be taken to an event, whether it be community living or whatever, and being dropped off safely with a van driver making sure that they get in the doors without falling down or that they actually get in the right door, which is, again, a more important thing. A lot of these people we take, I think for the family, it's more of a respite. It's just a support for them for the day. They get, not that they want to lose their loved one for the day. It just helps them get a place, feel more in the society and the community, and it gives the family more an opportunity to get things ready for them when they get back home at the end of the day. So I think there's a lot of things that we do there. There's more stats up here we can look at if we can figure out how to get this working. Did I just go one? Let's go one more. Yeah, so these are just the county stats here. If you can see some of the, we've completed over 27,000 drives in the county. Yeah, and then except for Hamilton Township, Heather? Yeah, so 12,000 visits, which is again, and then we have the just Ed's House alone, 153 residents and families have been supported at Ed's House. So there's a lot, we're doing a lot in the community to help the people. And I think the other thing I'm thinking of is that when we come in here today, most of us probably drove here today, or we have had an opportunity to drive here today. A lot of the people we take either can't afford a car or don't have access to a car or just can't drive a car because of the disabilities they have. So things that we take for granted in life, we're able to give those people a chance to feel like they're part of our community and that we're able to get them out to all the things that we go do. Probably took people today to the Remembrance Day celebrations that couldn't get there in their own cars. We probably had some people go in one of our vans today to an event like that. I think, you know, and again, the affordability, like there's people I drive in the van that could afford to buy all our vans. I have other people we drive couldn't put air in the tires. It's just the way it works out there. I mean, we try to stay affordable. I called today the office and said, okay, if I lived in Coal Springs in a wheelchair, how much would we charge them to go to Peterborough, to the Peterborough Hospital for an hour appointment? So we worked it out and it would be less than $60 to go from Coal Springs to Peterborough Hospital and returned for an hour-long appointment in one of our vans. And then you think about, well, like, how do you do that? Well, we probably pay the drivers close to $20 an hour. So there's the $60 pretty well gone there. Yes, we don't cover our costs, but we're a not-for-profit agency. And I guess this is why we need help from our municipalities and guys like you and people in our area to keep these programs running, because there's people we drive just cannot afford any more than the $60 doesn't sound a lot probably to most of the people in this room, but to some people that we drive, that's a lot of money. So I think, you know, your help and your support every year is what makes our community, your township, work even better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And I note that your enthusiasm and your energy was gaining as you were going through your presentation, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate what you and a lot of other drivers and a lot of other people do in our community, as well as our neighbors. Questions from council members? John, Larry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can't say enough about the program that you provide, the whole program of community care, and the transportation services that you provide to our community is essential and much appreciated. There has been some issues in the news lately, and in reviewing the auditor's report, there was an issue that was brought up, specifically the integrity. And we would just like to make sure that there's been steps taken to ensure in the future that these steps will not have to come forward again. Because it's critical to have a service like this and be questions on the integrity. And we hope that the future is going to be brighter in that sense. But I for one, cannot say enough about the services that you provide in total. And on the transportation services, it's just par excellence. And we wish you all the well. Thank you.
Bruce, Mark? Again, thank you, Mike. On a personal note, I can actually say I've spent more time in one of the retired vans that was sold to a group, I guess I would say, of people that frequent my place on a Sunday afternoon. And I can appreciate the value of the circumstance and of the van and keeping those older vans in use on a private situation. So again, thank you for your presentation, Mike, Heather, as well. We do have a motion that simply reads that the presentation by Heather and Mike, Community Care Northumberland, on November 12th, 2025, regarding the 2026 grant funding request be received for information. Do I have a mover, please? Moved by Mark, seconded by Larry. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our third presentation today is by Rosemary Jemison regarding the Bethlehem Walk Committee. Rosemary, floor is yours when you get there. Now we need that microphone turned on, which I don't think it is right now. Okay, good.
Okay. As Scott said, my name is Rosemary Jameson, and I'm part of the Bethlehem Walk Committee. And I'm going to let you do the slide. Thank you. Our financial request is for $2,500. And yes, we have been approved for funding in previous years. We are not for profit. This is a free event, and it's volunteer run. For next year, as always, Bethlehem Walk will be the third weekend in November, November 14 and 15, from 5 till 8. Target audience are families, typically, all age groups, all abilities, and up to 1,000 visitors, although we've had up to 1,400 since we're only doing 2 nights as opposed to 3 that we used to do before COVID. The numbers are a little bit less than that. As far as our mission goes, it's to produce a free community event which represents the walk of Mary and Joseph to Bethlehem. And goals and objectives provide a welcoming, inclusive community event. As the fellow from Harwood said, be very frugal. We don't have a lot of money to spend, so we've had a lot of recycled things over the years that have been part of the walk. Of course, ensuring the safety of the volunteers and attendees. We have a core group of volunteers. There's about a dozen people, and each person leads some aspect of the walk. So we have a great group. And over time, you can see the generation being replaced. And I'm part of the older generation now, but fortunately, we have some people falling in behind. We like to involve as many people as possible. And of course, it's a free event. As far as membership breakdown goes, it's committee volunteers. About 95% of the core group is from Hamilton Township, but each of those brings in additional volunteers who may be friends, families, neighbors, ranging in age from about 4 to over 90. And last year we had about 115 volunteers donating almost 700 hours. And that doesn't include every volunteer hour. There's no time in there for all the cookies that get baked, for instance. What happens is everybody comes to Cold Springs Hall. They start at the upper level. We've been fortunate to have really great musical entertainment. Everybody goes from there out on a guided walk. There are a bunch of stations that they visit with a guide, and there's an optional hayride. And everybody comes back in and enjoys hot chocolate and cookies. And if someone is unable to walk, then we have golf carts available, so it's fully accessible. This is a picture inside the stable at the end of the walk last year, a few of the volunteers who are visible. And you can see everybody is smiling. It's a really great evening for everyone. As far as use of the grant goes, for the rental of the hall and park, for OPP paid duty officers, expenses such as maintenance of the walk, the buildings, the costume refurbishment, and our biggest expense is actually the insurance. We are not anticipating any financial need to offset support in terms of we borrow the pylons and barriers for Willis Road closure and for marking the pedestrian areas. And Mike Robinson provides fire services personnel for us. There's usually 2 from each station each night, and we really appreciate that. As far as benefits go, great opportunity for friends and families to get together. It's free. It's accessible. People enjoy coming to the hall and the park, and we really love to get the volunteers together from the wider community. As far as success measures, finding and retaining willing volunteers, we've rebuilt our volunteer group post-COVID so that we're once again got a steady group of people. People are joyful when they finish the walk. You know, you end up in the stable with that serene scene, and it's just wonderful. We get attendees from a lot of areas, and we try to keep track of if they've been before. And even though we've been running this since 2003, we usually run about 30% had not been there before. So getting new people every year. We keep track of financials and numbers of attendees just to see, you know, how we compare from year to year. During the COVID and shortly after, we were in deficit positions, but last year we were in the black, and we're hoping that we'll be back there again. We have a lot of non-monetary donations that come in to keep things running. On there, you'll see OPP, and the portion that is a donation is the police auxiliary. We do pay for the OPP itself. And we have sheep and chickens donated, cookies, 150 dozen cookies. It's great. A lot of people involved. In terms of consistency with the township priorities, support strategic partnerships with the community, and use of the recreational facilities. And the last slide, this weekend coming up is this year's Bethlehem Walk, and we hope to see you all there between 5 and 8, Saturday and Sunday. Any questions?
I guess I'll go around the room. John, questions? Larry?
To you, Mr. Mayor, thanks for your presentation.
You're welcome.
I think it's just wonderful what you do every year,
Thank you.
and I think essential bringing the community together. These are the kinds of things that we all need, you know, that times are getting tough, you know, and people need this kind of activity, and I appreciate what you do and your volunteers do, and thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we found that people during COVID, they really missed activities like this. And, you know, the first year we brought it back, we said, you know, should we bring it back? And, you know, people in the community said, yes, you have to make it part of, you know, our Christmas festivities again. So.
Bruce? Any comments, questions?
Bringing it back and good. I've been involved for a number of years, and late morning, look after one of the stations in.
The wise men.
Thank you, Bruce. Mark?
I'll just say that I'll echo, what everyone else has said, but I'll also say that it's free, which is wonderful. I mean, not too many things are free anymore, so very good. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it. I see one line entry there where, Rosemary, you mentioned frugal. I think I know a lot of your committee, and I have had the occasion to be involved with a lot of those committee members. I'm not sure that frugal is a strong enough word to describe their objectives in relationship to work and accomplishment in relationship to money. So I thank you for your presentation. I thank you for your activity. And I can quite honestly state that it's a pleasure to have it in Hamilton Township. So thank you. Okay, we have a motion. That presentation by Rosemary Demos, Bethlehem Walk Committee. On Friday regarding the 2026 grant funding that you received for information. The job secretary's questions, comments, all in favor? Moving on our agenda, 5.4. Joshua? Yeah. I properly pronounced your last name, and I did seek that out from a staff member who didn't help me. So please.
I'll help you on that. Nothing. Just leave it how it is.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to talk about our program. So I would like to first clarify my name is pronounced Noiseur, but you don't have to do it that way. You can say Noiseur, Noisiux, Wiseau, whatever you prefer. I've heard it all.
I could have got some of those closed.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, thanks very much for having me here, and thanks to all the other presenters here. I'm really in support of all of your work, especially the Bethlehem Walk. We're a little nervous because we have our sheep in it for the first time this year. So hopefully they do a good job. They're not too far, thankfully. So yeah, of course, a little bit myself. I farm in the area. I farm just behind where the Bethlehem Walk is housed at the old Willis farm, and also at the old Timlin farm at the top of the hill of Cold Springs. And I've been involved in the ALICE program for several years, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that is, but I wanted to share the personal connection that I have with it. In 2021, we enrolled several dozen acres of land that we use for hay and pasture land in the program that allowed us to basically fund it to not be harvested until after July 15th. And the beauty of what that does is it allows for these species at risk, grassland birds, to be able to fledge their young. And as a result of that program and the monetary offset that the ALICE program allowed us to do, we actually have seen numerous pairs of bobolink, eastern meadowlark, and even eastern bluebird in our field. So that's been really gratifying to watch and see. And at the same time, it complements the ongoing agricultural activities. And I think that's a good example of what the ALICE program is all about. It's about complementing agriculture and meeting conservation goals at the same time. Because the fundamental vision and philosophy of the program is that conservation is so important, but the land base we have in this southern part of Ontario and in much of Canada is agricultural. So we can't really expect to meet these vast and very crucial and important conservation and ecological goals if we don't do it in partnership with the agricultural community. So that's where ALICE is motivated by. It's motivated to reach these conservation goals using partners in the farming community, using farmers and their knowledge, their understanding, and their stewardship of the land that they already work to help advance these goals. So a little bit about the ALICE model, generally speaking. It's a national not-for-profit or a charity which coordinates local communities, which are led by what's called PACs, Partnership Advisory Committees. And so this is core to the ALICE model, that it's farmer-led. And so the membership of these advisory committees is majority farmers, locally farmers that come from the regions. And so our region recently expanded after this spring to include Northumberland. So we had formerly been ALICE Peterborough, and now we're ALICE Kawarthas Peterborough Northumberland. So we now encompass the city of Kawartha Lakes, Northumberland County now as well, and of course Peterborough County. And so that partnership advisory committee is kind of what steers the whole thing on the local level. They provide insight into the ecological priorities, the mindset and disposition of the local agricultural community, and they help to sort of establish what kinds of projects are going to be approved. And so we work with farmers to find parts of their farms or the land that they steward or other agricultural landowners that could be repurposed or used in a way that's both complementary to their production, but also enhances the ecological resilience of that land. So some examples of project types that we fund and participate in and support is wetland restoration projects, riparian buffers to remove invasive species from sensitive riparian and creekside areas, grassland establishment for native tallgrass prairies, which is something that this area has some sort of resilient examples of in the form of Hazelbird and Alderville First Nation. So we all support that kind of work, that kind of restoration work as well on farms, and tree planting, and as well as several other project types. So it's not prescriptive. There's a number of different things that we can get behind and support. And so ultimately what this does is it allows the farms to stay farms, and it supports the farmers financially to do these ecological projects, but it also allows the farmers to drive the process and feel like they're setting the agenda in the whole process. So that's core to our model. Technically, how it works in terms of funding, we support both the establishment of new projects. So we'll fund some of the cost of, for example, contracting for a wetland excavation project or for seeding of a tallgrass prairie. But what makes us really unique and compared to other farm support organizations is that we really support the ongoing life of the project. So what we do is we provide annual payments, which are based on like a marginal land lease rate. So in our area, it's about $100. So if we're, for example, if we're going to put a tree planting project to create a windbreak or a hedgerow or habitat on a farm, we would supply a per acre payment of $100 per year for 5 years or whatever the length of the agreement is. It's typically 5 years, but some of them are 10. So in some way that motivates, but also offsets any kind of production loss that may be incurred by a farmer when they're entertaining these environmental projects. And it helps to motivate to see that we're not actually just doing conservation, we're producing something as well. We're producing the natural world, we're producing ecosystem benefits. And that's kind of the way that Alice likes to frame it. So generally speaking, our funding and our partnerships have been very robust throughout the country since its inauguration, and I think it was about 2005-06 down in southwestern Ontario. And we were primarily funded by a mixture of government grants, foundation grants, private donations, and our own local fundraising. In the western part of the country, much of the funding comes from municipalities, and that's kind of based on the fact that they don't have the same conservation authority model. Here, we partner often in Ontario with conservation authorities. So we are housed within the Kawartha Conservation, which is obviously not in our jurisdiction, but we operate cross-jurisdictionally in the whole region, and that's a model that Alice has done for several years now in many different jurisdictions in Ontario. But we like to collaborate as much as possible with conservation authorities. And so to that end, we recognize the amazing contributions of the Clean Water, Healthy Land program that's been going for many years here in Hamilton Township that does a very similar work to what we do. We want to be able to collaborate and complement that funding and provide just that extra boost that our access to the agricultural community, our knowledge about ecosystem projects specifically on farmland can help to build the existing suite of funding that's available in the community. So we see that as a great potential for stacking and collaborating in funding our farmers to do great work in the community. And so, yeah, like I said, our funding model has been pretty robust, but we have some areas that we are a little bit lacking. And one of those is funding for outreach. Some of our funders are specifically mandate that we fund primarily the projects themselves and staff time. And so what we're hoping to achieve with this grant request is an ability to do a bit more promotional work in Hamilton Township to reach more local farmers and to showcase a demonstration site where we would do one of our main project types and have signage, have a bus tour that comes. We've had bus tours for several years, but in recent years, we haven't had the funding available for it, where we bring local farmers to see the projects. So we'd like to have a bigger outreach impact to just say, here we are, we're operating now in Northumberland County, we're operating in Hamilton Township, and we want to access the agriculture community and share with the more broadly the community at large. And we feel that this will help meet the township's strategic goals, supporting people and collaboration between partners and farmers and conservation organizations. We also feel that it'll, of course, meet the environmental goals of the township and help with their greenhouse gas reduction and so on. And yeah, we just really thank you for the opportunity to present, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Maybe I can lead off with a question. Do we have any current or active projects in Hamilton Township right now that you could
Yes.
kind of tell us the location of?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. That's a great thing to remember. Yeah, so we do. There's several, I think there's 6 active projects now, or maybe 5 plus 1 that's being established this year. So there are 2 tree planting projects in the western part of Hamilton Township. One of them is at a forager's farm. You may be familiar with Foragers Headwaters. Tony and Linda Armstrong are the Headwaters people. There's another one at a market garden, which is a delayed haying program similar to my own. There's my projects, which I have 2 of those delayed haying, delayed grazing projects. There's a wetland restoration project near Baltimore that's being implemented this year, and a riparian buffer project as well, where we're reseeding along the steep banks of a wetland project that was kind of poorly designed. So we're revegetating the banks to make sure that we don't have erosion into the water and allow for a native plant community to establish there.
Thank you. I'll go to council members. Mark?
Thank you for your presentation. Funding for this next year and year after and so forth, is there going to be more, like you're going to require more funding year after year, or is this just a one-time promotional type presentation to fund?
Yeah, I think that's our intention, is for it to be a one-time thing. We're not in a position where we need ongoing support from the municipality, but we do want to kind of push into the municipality and kind of show that we're here and we're available for farmers and farm landowners to take advantage of our opportunities and our support. So we see it as an opportunity for outreach and building connections in the community. And then our sort of baseline funding model would carry us through in future years, would be the plan.
Okay, thank you. And you are aware we do have the Clean Water and Healthy Lands,
Of course.
within our jurisdiction. So there may be opportunity there to fund it from there to if council is in agreement to fund this project. So
Yeah, there's been some conversations with Ganaraska Conservation and between the CAOs of our 2 respective organizations, and so there's certainly a lot of fruitful opportunity to collaborate and figure out the precise mechanics of how the funds would be administered. But I think we're very open to continuing that conversation.
great, thank you.
Any further questions? Larry, go ahead, please.
Thanks to you, Mr. Mayor. Great presentation. I must also add, we didn't look at your presentation today, but it's the best presentation I've ever seen come forward. I only
kind of
have
you
one
to say.
question. I only have one question. What does ELLIS mean?
So
Acronym.
the national level charity communications guidelines mandate that we're not supposed to say what the acronym is, which is confusing, I think, because people think it's ALICE, but it's ALUS, Alternative Land Use Services, is what it originally stood for. But now we feel the name can stand on its own.
Any further questions?
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Joshua. Motion reads that the presentation by Joshua ALUS Kawarthas Peterborough, Northumberland on November 11th, 2025 regarding the 2026 grant funding request be received for information. I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Larry, second by John. All those in favor, carried. Thank you. Our next presentation is by Jill Williams, Community Health Center of Northumberland. And support members.
Yeah, Joelle and Adam.
Welcome all. And the microphone is normally simple, but I'm not so sure mine can say that after the luck I've had today with mine. So
Well, the
feel
light's
free.
on. I'm going to assume it's okay. Good afternoon, members of council, township staff, and community members. On behalf of Community Health Centers of Northumberland, I'd like to thank you for inviting us here today and for considering our organization for grant funding. My name is Jill. I'm a lifelong Hamilton Township resident, currently living just northwest of here. I'm not sure how much you know about Community Health Centers of Northumberland. We have doctors, diabetes, education, counselors, dental. Now, all of that is mostly funded by Ontario Health. So we're not here asking for help with the center today. We're asking for help for our food security program. About 40% of our clients that use the food security service are from Hamilton Township. We want to do is only possible because of partners like Hamilton Township. Our food security program mostly is funded by grants and donations. We're not funded by the government for it, but I'll let Adam explain to that. Once again, thank you for welcoming us and for any ongoing support. And with my colleagues, Adam and Joelle, we'll introduce you to Vicky, one of our volunteers at the center. I'll turn you over to Adam.
Good afternoon. My name is Adam Hudson, and I am a community registered dietitian. And as part of my role and under my umbrella, I run the food security programs at the Community Health Center of Northumberland. And just to clarify, 40% of our whole entire client base is from Hamilton Township. Roughly 15 to 18% of our food bank users are from Hamilton Township. We have more than 10,000 clients at the center, 40% of those coming from Hamilton. A large reason why we want to run food security programs at our health centers, we know how much food is tied into our health. And with big players in the food security industry, as it is now because of such high need, we have other food banks like Fair Share and other ones across Northumberland. But having one in our building enables us to provide service on demand, as well as other services. If someone goes to a social worker, they can come to our food bank. If someone goes to our diabetes team, they can come to our food bank. We do have regular operating hours that we operate on Thursdays, but When a nurse practitioner sees someone and identifies someone as food insecure and able to bring them into a food cupboard, that is wraparound care. And it is something that we very much feel is part of a whole wraparound care. Thank you. This was our original food cupboard that was pre-pandemic. We were serving around 18 households a week in between all of those single serve interactions that I was talking about. But after the pandemic, we needed to go to a different setup here. And it is now in our big multi-purpose room. We offer a shopping model. We offer our services weekly, where many other food banks in the county are unfortunately reduced to bi-weekly or once a month service. And as a health center, we very much rely on the idea that fresh produce is guaranteed to be available, as we know that healthy eating is very much tied to healthier outcomes in health. Our food bank stats, considering we do not get 1 cent of coverage from Ontario Health with regards to food supplies, food ingredients, containers for meals, things like that. All of this is from donations and funding. We served last year more than 549 unique individuals. That means someone who came at least just once. And some of those individuals need to come every week. And that's why the interactions with clients is well over 5,000. We also offer meal programs and a robust team of volunteers. This clicker is, would you mind, Amanda, switching that part? Thank you. And just one more, please. Yeah, perfect. The food cost is, again, when we do not have any coverage from the Ministry of Health, we are committed to purchasing fresh produce each week. We have a community market, which Joelle is going to speak about in a second, but we have our meal programs. And if Amanda, you could just flip one more, please. And as you can see in the video, we have a team of 40+ volunteers. These meals are handed to the unhoused population, people who come in off the streets who are looking for critical care during some of their nurse practitioner or doctor appointments. And this is also a huge opportunity for outreach, but also for building community. And the volunteers are also responsible for creating our community lunches, which are on the first Thursday of every month. They are free. We usually have anywhere between 30 and 50 attendees each week or each lunch, and really try to aim to create a community feeling around food. And again, all of this is all kind of independent of any kind of funding that we aim to kind of wrap around with a bit of love through food. And one of our really exciting projects is something that Joelle's going to talk about now, and that's our community market, which connects people to locally grown food.
Hi, thank you. So I run the community food market, and it is a farmer's market set in the health center. We offer local produce at a reduced price. We started in 2023 with the Trillium Grant with the intention of reaching a different group of people, people that weren't accustomed to coming into a food bank. They'd never been before, and they were embarrassed and hesitant to use the program. So our hope was that the market would provide sort of a bridge to alleviate the social barrier of accessing food security programs. In order to create a welcoming space, we wanted the market to be open to all community members. That's hassle-free, barrier-free, no assessment. Everyone's welcome to shop. We encourage everybody to shop. And those who are in a position to donate into the market help to keep the prices low for everybody else. That is our brochure up there. Currently, every Thursday, 1 to 4, we offer the market in the front lobby. We're able to subsidize the price of food because of donations and grants, and a team of volunteers that keep our prices down. That is some of the farmers in the area that we do business with. We purchase the food from the farmers. We don't ask for donations from the farmers. It's a sample price list from earlier this year, and it is organized by farm so people can see where their food is coming from. And it also gives up an opportunity in the market to have conversations with people and let them know about other programs that we offer. And it happens often where people will come in and have a conversation with me, and I will take them through the food cupboard, that they would be better served through the food bank instead of the market. That's just some numbers from our sales last year, the last fiscal year. We spent about $41,000 on local food, and we typically subsidize about 30%. So we were expecting to make back in sales just under 29,000, but we were happy that we made almost 37,000. And that was in part due to donations made right at the till and the meals that we sell through the food cupboard. The volunteers make soup out of the leftovers from the market, and then we sell those. And financial support. So how your support will help our program. It allows us to continue to be able to purchase fresh produce for our weekly food bank. It helps with covering the cost of ingredients and supplies, both the takeaway meals and our community lunches. It helps cover food subsidy for the community market. As I mentioned, about 30% that we take off of our price that we bought from local farmers. It contributes to retaining the community market coordinator, which selfishly is me. And it helps with the expansion of the community market to other locations, which is in the works right now. We're trying to make the market mobile for next year so that we can spread this model to other parts of Northumberland. And that is it. Questions, comments, concerns?
I've been asked, what's your last name?
Peg.
That's for the records.
Okay.
I'll start off with a question of my own. As silly as this might sound, I truly don't know Port Hope that well. Where is 99 Toronto Road? I see in the presentation that's where your hub is. So where is 99 Toronto Road?
It's not downtown Walton Street, but it is right after you get off of the highway, of the Toronto Road Highway.
It's the old Port Hope Legion.
That, yes.
Most people know the Legion.
There's a bus stop right outside too, which makes it quite accessible for people in town and coming from Cobourg, that if they need the bus, they can. Actually, the local bus driver calls it the market stop on Thursdays now.
I'll go to my fellow council members. Any questions for the Larry, please?
Thanks to you, Mr. Mayor. Great presentation. Thanks very much. What do you do now that we're going into winter? So your produce, how do you offset that if you don't have market available here?
We do have the market through the winter. So through the winter, we sell root vegetables. In the winter, local will mean Ontario, and in the summer, local means Northumberland. So I can still get some hothouse vegetables. I can still get root vegetables from local Northumberland farmers. And then meat, we sell meat as well. So I'll up the sales of meat, and then the soups, the meals that we sell as well.
Any other questions? I have a follow-up, a slightly different topic. I keep hearing 40% of your users are from Hamilton Township.
Our clients at community health centers in Northumberland. So that's clients that use our doctors, our dentists, our nurse practitioners. 40% of the center's clients are from Hamilton Township.
Thank you for that clarity. Any further questions? Larry?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Just some, if you can get me some clarity on this. We have physicians recruitment and primary care. So do I understand that if I don't have a doctor, I could come to your facility and get physician help or primary care?
No.
No.
You would have to fill out an
Jill,
application.
maybe we should have you at the microphone.
Sorry.
That's a valuable question and
Yes.
answer that we probably should be sharing with our video audience.
Yes, no, we have doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, but you would have to come in, fill out an application, and then you would go on our wait list. The wait list is then triaged. Anybody without a physician at all would go like tier number 1. Anybody that has a physician, but the physician maybe is in Toronto, would be level 2. And somebody else who has a physician that's local, but they just don't like them, they would be tier number 3. So our wait list now is about 300 to 400 people. We do go through people without physicians fairly quickly. Maybe a year you would be on the wait list. We are not currently associated with Ontario Connects, where people register if they don't have a doctor, but we're working now. Ontario Health would like us to take over Northumberland's section of Ontario Connect. Right now, we just don't have the manpower to do that, so we're still negotiating with them. But yes, we do have a wait list. There is an application, but one thing with our wait list is you don't have to de-roster to come on our wait list with Ontario Connects. They're talking about changing it. You don't have to de-roster, but right now you can have a doctor and still get on our waiting list.
Thank you. That's very important because I know I've been involved in physicians recruitment over the last few years. And now that we've turned it over to the county, which is great, I'm still concerned about a great number of patients out there who don't have doctors. And if this is a service that's available, I would certainly, because you do have the opportunity to go to the walk-in clinics, but there's some issues with that, and of course going to the hospital. But I think it's important that if we have more options available to our residents, that would be a great thing. And I just wanted to make sure that I understood that, so that if people out there do not have a doctor, that they could approach the community health center.
Yes, applications are online, or you can come in. It's community health centers are a great way for healthcare, because somebody could come and see their doctor, and then the doctor could say, wow, you're pre-diabetic. And they can send that client then upstairs to our diabetes nurse educators. And the diabetes nurse educators can go, wow, yes, we're going to help you with your diabetes, but, oh, you also can't afford groceries, so we're going to send you down to our food cupboard. Then, oh, you can't afford to go to the dentist. We have low price dental care. So it's multidisciplinary care all in one building. So it's really a great thing that people in Northumberland don't understand community health centers. So we're trying to get the word out there, but we can only serve so many people. We have, when you look at our financial report, it looks like we have a large budget, but the money that's for the doctors is strictly for the doctors. We aren't allowed to touch it. The monies for our geriatric assessment is strictly for that department. So although we have a large budget, we don't get control over that budget. So we can't take some money from there to pay for the food cupboard, which is what we're here for today. We could ask for thousands and thousands of dollars to help pay to get more doctors, to get more nurses, but that's not what we're here for today.
Thank you. Jill and Associates, appreciate you being here. Great presentation. We do have a motion that reads that the presentation by Jill Williams, Community Health Center of Northumberland on November 11th, 2025, regarding the 2026 grant funding request be received for information. Have a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Mark, seconded by Bruce. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, our last presentation today is by Miles Bowman, the Sounds of the Next Generation. Miles, floor is yours, please.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, I'm here with Sounds of the Next Generation, or SONG is what we're known as more regularly. We provide kids across Northumberland with free music. So I'll jump right into it. We've got did that work? Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Oh, you're following my lead. That's so helpful. Okay, so just really quickly, that's a table of contents. I circulated this so that if you wanted to go and check out more information, you could. Specifically, there's some like links to some videos and whatnot that are in the presentation that most of them I won't put through for today. But if you were curious on following up, that's what that's there for. So if we go to the Why Song Matters, great. Over the years of my working with song, we've tried to let people know the importance of music in especially young people's lives as they develop. Music basically helps the brain to wire. It means that we have more neural connections, and it means that we have more diffuse neural connections. So not only are we keeping more neurons, but we're having more connections amongst those neurons. That's really important for the individual. However, we've started to shift the conversation because that kind of keeps it focused on the individual. And I think the magical thing that song does is that it connects communities in the same way. And so it increases the number of local connections for the kids that are in our programs, and it makes sure that they have a wide array of connections within the community and around the community that they can rely on. There's a bunch of really cool research that's showing that having regular adult contact that's not your parental caregiver, that are trusted adults, has really amazing developmental effect that increases achievement and long-term life success in young people because of that. So we achieve all of that through music. We basically look at music like our functional tool that we go out in the community and we work on people with. And I've just been signed out in the middle of my presentation, maybe. That's awesome. So if you could go to the video, please. Fun. Thanks for watching that with me. So in sum, as I was saying, music is the tool that we change young people's lives with. And we are in the process of skill building for the next generation. So I think people often look at music making as though it's just a bunch of like running around in a circle and holding hands, when in fact, we would argue that it's teaching direct skills that are important for being a contributing adult in society. It teaches self-regulation, social connection, and leadership. I'll just briefly review that our programs keep expanding as attention is drawn towards song. So in that video, I detailed that we have basically 5 after-school programs, and we've been piloting new ones. So at the end of last year, we piloted our first student-led group guitar, you can see there. And we're just getting our feet under us to offer a group guitar class again this year. This fall, we offered a group piano lessons using that same model. So now we have young people teaching young people and building those connections around the community. So what is song? I think you've gotten the gist of it, but we like to simplify it in terms of, if you go to the next one, please, we have 3 main arms of our programming. We have after school programming that takes place the majority at Port Hope High School. We have in-school programming where we're taking music education directly to kids in their classrooms, and we partner with educators to make sure that what our kids in Northumberland are getting is at the top level. So we have trained professional musicians bringing up the level of music education across schools in Northumberland. And then we have the Next Gen Soundstage, which is our emerging talent show that you saw in some of the video there. So we have young people on professionally produced stages helping to create culture in and around Northumberland and guided by musical mentors and working artists in the community. To simplify our programming delivery, we've partnered with Port Hope High School to be the music hub. And so the majority of our classes are now offered there. They've helped us to develop a model where families can come in and go directly to classrooms where they learn music after school. And we have just this year launched a similar model with CCI so that we could get access to more of the youth that we're looking to build into our program. Our in-school program developed through basically piloting with schools that are in your area. So we've got the Burnham School, we've got the Port Hope High School and CCI. And this year we're moving in and doing a song tech program in Colburn. So we're directly delivering that programming for students in Hamilton Township. And then we have the Next Gen Soundstage. As I mentioned, that travels around. And part of our initiatives is to make sure that this, over the long term, becomes something that is featured around Northumberland. So while we've been building it up, it's been at the Capitol Theatre. This fall, we were able to partner with Cultivate and have young people on the professional stage at Cultivate Festival, as well as the Cobourg Waterfront Festival during the summer. Song's model is all about community engagement. That is, young people need to have a voice in community building as well. Coming from a small town, I looked around and saw that my voice was maybe not as well reflected as I might want it to be. And that's part of maybe why I left my hometown. I can see so much of what I grew up with is familiar in this room. The rural mentality is all about like making a go of it with what you have. And it's just been a joy watching the presentations and the way that the community building happens, from literally grants asking for chairs so that we can be in community halls. I get that. Another big thing is making sure that young people can see how they belong in that community. And so we try as much as possible with our developed programs to have young people participate in the local culture building and to see their voices reflected in what matters in community gatherings and in community events. Specifically, our grant ask is to, if you go to the next one, please, feature Hamilton Township in a music festival that we're developing. So partnering with a Peterborough children's choir, we're looking at putting on what's going to be called the Northumberland Youth Sing Festival. We're targeting the Cold Springs Hall as the location for that, meeting basically halfway amongst our two groups in the center of a rural atmosphere. And we're bringing in an Indigenous artist, Mashiki Gitigan, to work with the young people at that festival. The event reel for that, like I said, I've got some stuff there for you to look at. We would have to generate that after we build it, and we're targeting this to be an April event. So this is a good example of how we're working at showcasing specifically rural voices in rural places. As mentioned in the slideshow or the little video presentation, we have extensive community partnerships, and we've been eyeing adding Hamilton Township to our list of community partners. So I'm pretty excited to be here and finally involving you in our presentations. I think we can skip by that one and just go to a quick thank you for your time. And it's just, it's always nice to end with a testimonial. So we have a Song mom that wrote to us saying, I wanted to thank everyone at Song for their hard work and dedication. My daughter joined the intermediate choir later into the school year with no prior experience, but the inclusivity that she felt with this program was amazing. Song gave her the confidence boost that she didn't have before. So I'm very grateful for the program. I can't tell you what it's like being the executive director and getting to watch those kids come alive in that way. You don't know when it's going to happen. I love going in and like taking the photos in the classroom so that we can share that. And there's something magical about seeing them find their place, have those connections with their peers, and knowing that they have a spot where they belong. So this stuff matters. Wasn't expecting that, but I love what I do. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles. And you made a reference, several pictures as well of one of our residents, Shannon Linton, of course, who was Shannon Cole, and a former summer student here at this municipality a number of years ago. And I think many of us know her and know her well and know of her dedication to music and her interest. So nice to have that tie-in connection as well. Again, thank you for your presentation.
Great.
Do we have any questions for Miles? Okay. Mark, I think you were first, if you want to go first.
Yeah, sure. What's the age group for these kids?
Yeah, I think when Song started, we had less into the youth category, but we basically span almost the entirety of when kids are in school now. So from grade 1 all the way to grade 12, we have programming options available.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Second of all, is there a cost for kids now? Like, do you charge the kids?
That's one of the amazing things about Song. All credit to Shannon, I believe, for starting it. Song, since its inception, has been 100% free. So everything that we do, all of the stuff that I just talked about, all of that programming is because of the generosity of the community. Northumberland has been absolutely incredible. Lucas and I have attended now national conferences where we have a program that competes with the likes that we see in cities like Vancouver and Toronto and kind of nowhere else. Yeah.
Great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Bruce, questions?
Yes, thanks for the presentation, Miles. I'm aware of the program, obviously, and I just want to make sure the question that Mark asked about, I was pretty sure that it was cost-free, any of the training the kids get. So
yeah,
it's a great program, and my son's recipient a part of it. So
oh, amazing!
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Any other questions? Larry?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for your presentation. I've always been inspired by Song.
Thank you.
I think I don't know if there's any parents in the room today, but in schools today, kids are getting less and less of the cultural aspects in their lifetime. And this program of Song is just outstanding. And I noticed by all the sponsorship, you've got some pretty outstanding sponsorship there.
Yeah.
And I think these organizations recognize the importance of that. And I just want to thank you, and your group of people there that are carrying on Song. Outstanding work, and hopefully we can see you in the future.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. If I can just add like a quick thing, I want to give a big shout out to your staff who is like really over the top helpful in making sure that I got the things that I needed in order to get in front of you this year. And so if you're not aware, they're just killing it behind the scenes. And so thank you and thank you. It was a big help.
Only one response to that. Yeah, we are aware.
Awesome. Well, good. Thank you.
They focus us quite well. In addition. So anyway, thank you, Miles. That completes our list of requests for community grants today. We have no closed session. Next item of business is, oh, I'm ahead of myself. We need a motion that the presentation by Miles Bowman Sounds of Next Iteration on November 11th, 2025 regarding the 2026 grant funding request be received for information. Moved by John, seconded by Bruce. All in favor? Thank you. And there's another little evidence of what our staff do, pointing us in the right direction. Anyway, motion to adjourn at the Committee of the Whole meeting held on November 11th, 2025 be adjourned at 3:20 p.m. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Mark, seconded by Bruce. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.